What happens when a Democratic U.S. Senator openly shames his own party for lying about a historic foreign operation and then produces receipts nobody saw coming? Well, this is exactly what John Fetterman just did, and it has Democrats, the media, and even the White House spinning. Well, today on this channel, we're not talking about political squabbles. We're talking about facts versus convenient narratives and whether the American people are even being told the truth about one of the most controversial international incidents in modern memory. Because the story starts with Donald J. Trump, who ordered a daring U.S. military operation that captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro on U.S. soil and immediately turned the entire political class upside down. Conservatives hailed it as justice. Liberal critics called it unconstitutional. And now John Fetterman, a Democrat, is calling out fellow Democrats like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Chris Murphy for contradicting their own past rhetoric. So here's the real question you need to ask yourself right now before we go any further. Why does it feel like we're only hearing half the story? And what are the powerful people trying to hide right now? If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like for the video and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. This is the moment the entire narrative blew apart. John Fetterman, a sitting Democrat senator, he didn't just disagree with his own party. He publicly detonated it. And the trigger was Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and the scramble that followed after the operation ordered by Donald Trump succeeded. Now, this was never supposed to happen. Democrats were never supposed to be exposed by one of their own, especially not someone with Fetterman's credibility inside the party. But instead of retreating, he stepped forward and he said the quiet part out loud. The story Democrats are now telling does not match what they said for years. Now, here's why this matters. This is not right versus left. This is not Republicans versus Democrats. This is not MAGA versus the squad. This is receipts versus revisionism. Now, John Fetterman didn't bring vibes. He didn't bring ideology. He brought timelines, statements, and decisions that Democrats themselves had made. And now, desperately, they want you to forget them. So here's the part that most people are missing, and this is the first receipt Fetterman threw on the table. Under the administration of Joe Biden, the United States placed a $25 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head. Now, that was not a rumor. This wasn't partisan spin. This was official U.S. policy. And bounties don't exist for symbolism. They don't put a price tag like that on somebody's head unless removal is the objective. Not negotiations, not messaging, removal. This is why Fetterman's point lands so hard. You cannot spend years signaling Maduro must go, backing opposition figures, escalating pressures, and raising a bounty, and then suddenly clutch your pearls when the operation actually happens under Donald Trump. If Democrats truly believe removal was so wrong, if Democrats truly believe that it was so illegal, if Democrats thought that it was so reckless, then why did they fund it, endorse it, and even expand it when they were in power? That's the contradiction that they can't answer right now. This is where Democrats made it even worse. Instead of denying the past, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she went on X, she tried to reframe the entire operation as about oil, about regime change, and even tossed in an Epstein deflection for good measure. I know she may not be the brightest in the box, but she did what she did. And that response did the exact opposite of what it was supposed to do. Because notice what she did not say. She didn't deny the bounty. She didn't deny years of Democratic calls for Nicolas Maduro to be removed. She didn't deny that Democrats celebrated pressure campaigns while Joe Biden was in office. She didn't deny the past. She tried to bury it. And that's why John Fetterman snapped, because when the defense turns into distraction, it tells you that the facts are not on your side. And the more the narrative stretched, the clearer the collapse became. Now, this idea of they didn't deny it, they buried it, doesn't just happen in politics. It happens in real life too. A viewer told me something that really stuck with me. He said, if I had known, I could have kept that money. But he didn't know because no one ever explained his Medicare plan to him. Not what it covered, not what it didn't cover, and not what questions he was supposed to ask. Now, that lack of clarity cost him $650 in a single year. This is exactly why I partner with Chapter. They make sure that your Medicare coverage doesn't punish you just because you didn't know what to ask or what to look for. There's no pressure, there's no confusion, there's no sales team or anything like that. Just someone actually walking you through it and just providing education. Now, most people, they're already calling the phone number down below, 909-563-8279, or they're clicking the link that I left for you down below in the description of this video, askchapter.org/Ron, to get clarity before another year slips by. All right, guys, so let's get back to it, because this next part, this is where the Democrats' own words really come back to haunt them. So this is where John Fetterman stops debating and he starts reading the record aloud. Long before Donald Trump ordered the operation, Democrats, they were already on the same page, believe it or not. Chuck Schumer, Pete Buttigieg, even Chris Murphy, they all publicly supported efforts to remove Maduro and recognized Juan Guaido as Venezuela's legitimate leader. Now, that's not interpretation. That's archived statements, tweets, press releases. releases, interviews. So when Democrats now say, we never wanted this, Fetterman's response is simple. Yes, you did until it worked. Now, this is not hypocrisy alone. This is panic after success. The plan didn't fail. It didn't spiral into war. That's the part that broke the script. So this is where the argument shifts from denial to accusation. Chris Murphy stepped out and declared the operation illegal, unnecessary, and dangerous, insisting Venezuela posed no real threat and that America had no business acting. Now that sounds serious, right? Until you line it up against reality. Now, John Fetterman did not argue in abstractions. He answered with outcomes. There was no war. There were no American casualties. There was no national collapse. And there was no retaliatory spiral that critics promised would happen if Donald Trump acted decisively. So, Fetterman asked the question Democrats don't want to answer. If this was illegal yesterday, why was it celebrated for years? Why fund it? Endorse it, escalate it, then condemn it only after it succeeds under Trump? That's not a legal argument. That is a political one. This is where fear-based comparisons fall apart. Critics rush to invoke Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, endless wars, regime collapse, even chaos. But this wasn't that. Donald Trump didn't launch an occupation. He didn't deploy ground forces. He didn't even promise nation building. What happened here was targeted removal, not open-ended intervention. One objective, one operation, done. We're gone. So this is why John Fetterman just keeps on saying Democrats are lying to themselves and to you. The worst case scenarios that they warned about didn't materialize. No cascading wars, no global meltdown. That's why this matters. Because when predictions of disaster fail, credibility collapses with them. And instead of admitting that they were wrong, Democrats tried to relabel success as reckless. That's not caution. That is narrative damage control. Now, I want to talk about what actually happened on the ground after Nicolas Maduro was removed. Reports out of Caracas, including coverage from the New York Post, described post-Maduro collectives, armed motorcycle gangs, intimidating journalists, hunting political opponents, and even trying to reassert control through fear. Critics pointed to this and they said, see, chaos. But John Fetterman made the counterpoint that Democrats refused to acknowledge. This violence didn't start after removal. It existed because of the regime. The collapse didn't create the brutality, it exposed it. When a dictatorship falls, what comes into light isn't instability, it's truth. You don't measure a regime by how calm it looks when it controls everything. You measure it by how violent its enforcers react when that control is broken. That's exactly what we just saw. So this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable for the left. Marco Rubio, he laid out a post-Maduro strategy that Democrats just keep on pretending does not exist. Venezuela's oil is central to stabilization, not as the motive, as the leverage. Oil wasn't the reason Donald Trump acted. It was the asset that made recovery possible after action. See, Rubio's plan centers on restoring production, reopening legitimate markets, and using that revenue to rebuild Venezuela without empowering another strongman. So this aligns directly with Trump's second term America First energy doctrine: stabilize allies, weaken adversaries, and reduce global dependence on hostile regimes. Pretending oil doesn't matter isn't moral, it's naive. Stabilization requires resources. Democrats know that. They just don't want to say it out loud. So here's the part that most commentators gloss over. The audience wasn't just Washington. BRICS was watching too. Russia, China, their partners and proxies, they expected hesitation, leaks, paralysis. What they got instead was decisive action under Donald Trump. And that's the shock. Now, for years, BRICS countries tested the idea that the U.S., they had lost their nerve, that the U.S. was weak, the United States had gotten soft, that sanctions talk was empty, that red lines were imaginary. But when Nicolas Maduro was removed without a regional spiral, the message changed overnight. Deterrence didn't collapse, it snapped back. This is why Democrats panicked, not because something went wrong, but because something went right. The predictions of chaos failed, credibility gap widened, and once global rivals see resolve, the old narrative can't be reassembled. Now, I want you to ask yourself this: if the facts are so shaky, why is the anger aimed at John Fetterman and not the operation? I'll tell you why. Because he violated the party's unwritten rule: never validate outcomes under Trump. Fetterman didn't praise the president, he validated reality. And inside of today's Democratic Party, that's just unforgivable. It's not about Venezuela anymore, it's about narrative discipline. Once a Democrat admits something worked under Donald Trump, the entire messaging apparatus loses control. That's why John Fetterman is being sidelined. That's why John's being attacked. That's why Fetterman is being labeled as a traitor to his own side. He didn't defect ideologically, he defected from the script. And And when control matters more than truth, anyone who breaks rank becomes the threat. This is the moment where everything clicks. The system can tolerate failure. It can excuse chaos. It can explain away disaster. What it cannot tolerate is success, especially success delivered under Donald Trump. So that's why the reaction wasn't relief, it was rage, because the operation against Nicolas Maduro didn't validate years of warnings, it invalidated them. No war, no regional collapse, no global panic, and suddenly the talking points were evaporated. John Fetterman understood this immediately. He saw Democrats scrambling not because something went wrong, but because something went right. The predictions failed, the fear didn't materialize, and when that happens, credibility takes the hit. That's why the attacks turned personal, not because Fetterman was wrong, but because he reminded everyone who actually was wrong. So here's a question that should really make everyone uncomfortable and honest at the same time. If this worked, what else were they wrong about? Iran, deterrence, energy, Taiwan, global leverage? Now, for years, Americans were told strength equals recklessness and restraint equals wisdom, but reality just told a completely different story. Under Donald Trump, decisive action didn't spark World War III. It restored deterrence. It forced rivals to recalculate, and it exposed how fragile the narrative really was. Now, John Fetterman, he didn't set out to defend Trump. He defended the truth. And this is why this moment matters, because the world is watching, adversaries are watching, and so are Americans who are tired of being talked down to while facts get buried. We pray for peace, we prepare for reality, and we stay honest about what actually works. Drop a like, subscribe, share this video. We'll see you next time.